Hello, and welcome to Factual Frequency, because nothing exposes the stupidity carried on a feminist frequency than a factual frequency. Because it turns out, after all of this, that feminism is just a social construct. So revolutionary femosopher and gyno thinker Anita Sarkeesian recently made this amazing feminist breakthrough that merely playing games and using other interactive media teaches people how they interact with other people in the real world.
When games such as these award players with achievements or trophies for sexual conquests, they are directly reinforcing negative ways of thinking about the dynamics between men and women in our society.
Seriously, that's how it works. So, for instance, winning a trophy in deathmatch teaches people that killing people is a challenge that must be overcome, and for people to think of men as objects that you can kill without real-world consequences. That's why the advent of deathmatch was of course accompanied by this massive rise in the murder statistics. Now, to the uninitiated, it might just look like Anita Sarkeesian is just making this stuff up out of thin air.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
But you're missing the point. This is cutting-edge feminist research. It's not easy to work out why you're always the victim when you're a privileged white woman who's just been given $500,000. It's not easy to capitalize on popcorn-eating memes while claiming with a straight face that people who say you're not a gamer are lying.
So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
But her latest Femi Scholar breakthrough is truly revolutionary. Apparently, after playing billions of man-hours of games with no evident effect, she decided in a stroke of sublime genius that she wasn't going to waste her time with academic studies that just confused the matter, especially when those self-same academic studies showed that gaming doesn't make people any more sexist. So she took the hugely brave and philanthropic approach that she didn't want to confuse aspiring feminists with facts or real studies. She just wanted them to listen and believe. I mean, why waste your time with facts when you can have faith? If you want to know that games are evil, it's easy. You've just got to listen and believe. Have faith. After all, this is feminist research.
And I just want to let you all know how amazing Alex's teleseminar secrets was. It really motivated me to get my own business started. In my current day job, I saw how teleseminars could change the face of your business and make a lot of money, but I didn't really understand how it worked. And I'm only 23 and I've already started my own business promoting teleseminars for small businesses around me, and it's really made a huge impact on my life.
You see, Anita knows this is true because in her line of research, she's played thousands of hours of games. Sick, violent, misogynistic games. And as feminist studies have shown, that makes you more sexist, right? I mean, we've all seen it with our own eyes how Anita Sarkeesian, after playing these sexist computer games, has been transformed into a misogynistic monster who laughs maniacally as she guns down sexualized women in cold blood. Now, she might say, but games don't affect me. They don't make me any more sexist. To which I reply, no, Anita, that means that you're the most sexist of all. Remember, feminist research.
Paradoxically, and somewhat ironically, those who most strongly believe that media is just harmless entertainment are also the ones most likely to uncritically internalize harmful media messages. In short, the more you think you cannot be affected, the more likely you are to be affected.
But what if what Anita Sarkeesian is saying here was actually true? Well, we recently acquired this tape. The content is shocking. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Prepare yourselves.
So a couple of years ago, I was starting making this video series about how damaging video games are to society. So I started playing these games, and I just didn't know what I was going to... Oh my God, is your cameraman a woman? Get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich before I sleep with you to regain my health and run you over with a car to get my money back, bitch.
After this, the recording is too graphic for broadcast. Our mystery source admitted playing the game Hitman, a game whose sole purpose is to teach players about the rush that you get from a mix of sexual arousal combined with controlling the bodies of women, and that afterwards their bodies can just be hidden in a totally realistic chest, and that pushing the X button is a great way to get a new disguise. Shortly after that, our source said that she started going to strip clubs, having learned about the male gaze from the reward system in gaming. Even more disturbing was this secret recording made at a local strip club in the locality of the Game Critic, where a 5.5-foot petite-bodied woman appears as a 6-foot-tall, muscular, bald man beating up sexualized women and dragging their bodies around for sexual arousal, and then hiding their bodies in convenient lockers at the strip club. There was also, tied to this, a rapid spate of sexualized women gunned down in cold blood. Police rushed to the scene, but it turns out the police had been playing computer games too, and the bodies evaporated before they got there, so there were no real-world consequences. She also confessed to having attained several trophies for looking up a woman's skirt in a Lollipop Chainsaw.
Similarly, in Lollipop Chainsaw, the player can unlock the "I swear, I did it by mistake" achievement for using the game camera to look up Juliet's skirt for an extended period of time, despite her coy efforts to block players from doing so.
And she said she could no longer talk to a cheerleader without trying to look up her skirt using silver toenail polish. She also had admitted having an intense desire to cut up the undead with a chainsaw and carry her disembodied boyfriend's head around for company. It's a sad story.
Oh, there's something we can try. It's the only chance we have to save you.
Juliet?
I love you too, baby!
The player can unlock the "I swear, I did it by mistake" achievement.
There's some stuff I didn't tell you before, okay? I didn't want you to think I was weird.
Zombies! Coming to kill us now!
I'm a zombie hunter. Don't hate me!
Hey, this is making me dizzy!
We'll pick up some antacids later, Nick. Right now we have to kill these guys.
During the interview, it was kind of distracting the way she contorted her body into sexual poses, but as she explained, this was because she'd been playing Bayonetta the previous week. We found out that we could cope with this distracting behavior. However, when she transformed into a giant space dragon to fight trans-dimensional magical space ninjas, we had to cut the interview short. We resumed the interview the next day, and she immediately vanished before our eyes.
The box has been upgraded with new abilities in Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, to offer players more options, such as...
We grew suspicious of a box that appeared about the same time, but then it turned into a commanding officer who told us to carry on, and there was nothing to worry about.
We can't vacate the box without being spotted, so we'll try something else. As you can see here, the box now features a picture of a saluting soldier on it. From a distance, you can use this to trick enemies into thinking you're an ally, and they'll pass you by.
We must remember that games don't just entertain. Intentional or not, they always express a set of values, and present us with concepts of normalcy.
From a distance, you can use this to trick enemies into thinking you're an ally, and they'll pass you by.
The box then gunned down 3 of the crew in cold blood before transforming into a sexy woman.
But rather than saluting, the soldiers come running. I wonder why. Ah, well that explains it. Let's go ahead and take care of him while he's still distracted.
Seconds later, the game critic reappeared to let us know that she no longer had a name because in her favorite game, women don't have names, and that in another one of her favorite games, how she had learned that all men are either white knights or pigs, and how we need more realistic games like where a woman uncovers a vast conspiracy about invading aliens, because that totally makes sense.
If that sequel ever gets made, we definitely need more games with warm, compassionate, multi-talented characters who have realistic and relatable concerns. Recruited by a resistance organization called the Iris Network, Jade uncovers a vast conspiracy between the invading aliens and the government.
She also talked at length about her vagina and how it had revealed to her her destiny. Her virginity, as she called it, was to develop a game concept to teach women to kill men using swords and to market under the name of feminism. The subliminal messages educates women and normalizes the idea in their heads that if they want something, then they have to violently assault men to achieve that goal. You see, it turns out that games are designed to provide feedback mechanisms that either punish or reward women for the way they interact with these virtual environments, because Video games are constructed around these formal input-output systems. They can be particularly powerful for reinforcing cognitive patterns by reinforcing players' behavior. So, for instance, if you want to become a more privileged princess, you need to physically assault men with swords.
Game systems are designed to provide feedback mechanisms that either punish or reward players for the ways they interact with virtual environments. Because video games are constructed around these formal input-output systems, they can be an especially powerful tool for reinforcing cognitive patterns by modeling and rewarding player behavior.
The message is clear. This game rewards players for in-game behavior that amounts to murder.
Achievements are directly rewarding players for in-game behavior that amounts to sexual harassment.
Players are actively encouraged to think of male bodies as something that they are entitled to assault and murder without real-world consequences. Maybe unsurprisingly, because of course she totally believes this bullshit, she's yet to apologize. The effects of this game were truly stunning. We took a test subject and allowed her to play for merely half an hour. And after that, this was the test subject's response to merely being asked a question by a man.
What's his name?
Two quick deaths.
The only question we have is, should this woman be arrested, tried, and fired into space in a totally convincing Kerbal Space Program rocket for her crimes against humanity, or should we keep her around, you know? Because of the completely hilarious things this woman says with a straight face.
We must remember that games don't just entertain. Intentional or not, they always express a set of values and present us with concepts of normalcy.
There's some stuff I didn't tell you before, okay? I didn't want you to think I was weird.
Juliet?
Fallout 5, The Phantom Pain, to offer players more options, such as the ability to pop out, take enemies out, and hide back in the box.
Recruited by a resistance organization called the Iris Network, Jade uncovers a vast conspiracy between the invading aliens and the government,